Greetings, this is Miz Sylver, and today we're going to look at the NES Classic Edition. But why don't we take a bit more of a blast to the past and also listen to the rebooted Nintendo Power Hotline. Yes, you could listen to it from November 11th to 13th by dialing 425. I may have forgotten the rest of the number. Let me check. 885-7529. Now, as we check out the NES Classic, I want to remind you that there are 30 classic Nintendo games on here, only 12 of which I owned on cartridge form already. I forgot to put Super Mario 2 in the picture, I think. I'm sorry, aka Doki Doki Panic. However, if you listen until after the Nintendo Power Hotline, you can get some tips and trivia from me, Miz Sylver, if you're very ambitious. But first, let's get really dangerous.
Thank you for calling Nintendo's Power Line, which is back for 1 weekend only to celebrate the release of the Nintendo Entertainment System NES Classic Edition system, now available in stores at a suggested retail price of only $59.99. From your first Goomba stomp to defeating Ganon and getting the Triforce, the original Nintendo Entertainment System played host to many of gaming's most memorable moments. And now, a new miniaturized version is here, preloaded with 30 of the all-time greatest NES games, including The Legend of Zelda, Super Mario Bros. 3, and Metroid. Just plug it in and play. If your NES skills are a little rusty, don't worry. Some of the original gameplay counselors are here to share a few top tips, and maybe even a story or two of their days on the original Gameplay Counselor Hotline. To hear a gameplay tip for The Legend of Zelda, press 1. To hear a gameplay tip for Super Mario Bros. And Super Mario Bros. 3, press 2. To hear a gameplay tip for Metroid, press 3.
Hi, I'm Pat Wells. During my days as a gameplay counselor, I sometimes helped players beat a game from beginning to end. Most often it was The Legend of Zelda, which was a tricky game to get to back before you could look up answers on the internet. A player would call after getting stuck in a dungeon, then call back an hour later asking for help on the next dungeon, and then the next. By the end of the day, they might have called me a dozen times. But it was always rewarding when you helped someone navigate a difficult dungeon, find a missing item, or beat that tough boss. We were gameplay counselors, and our job was to turn players' frustrations into victory. Sometimes the callers were so young they didn't even know their left from the right. You tell them to go 2 screens to the right, they'd say, "Is that towards my kitchen or is that towards my living room?" That would always make me smile. Speaking of The Legend of Zelda, did you know beating the game unlocks the second quest with new dungeons and new hiding places for everything?
I did.
If you'd like to start the second quest right away without beating the main quest first, just start a new game and register your name as Zelda. The second quest is a lot tougher, so good luck.
Now you're playing with power. To hear a gameplay tip for Super Mario Bros. And Super Mario Bros. 3, press 1. To hear a gameplay tip for Metroid, press 2.
Hi, I'm Melvin Forrest. I got my job as a gameplay counselor in 1990 after participating in Nintendo's Power Fest. I lost the tournament, but still got the job. Since I would answer hundreds of calls a day, I tried to make them as fun as possible for both the players and myself. I especially enjoyed it when someone would be so excited to speak to me that they'd forget the game that they were playing and where they were stuck. Since I could usually hear their game in the background, I'd tell them what it was, and they would freak out that I knew. I could also guess where they were stuck most of the time because I'd just taken lots of calls from other people with the same problem. So while it may have sometimes seemed like the gameplay counselors could read minds, we couldn't, or could we? Let me give this a shot. You're looking for Super Mario Bros. And Super Mario Bros. 3 for white blocks. If you stand on one and press down for about 5 seconds, Mario will fall through it and go behind the scenery for a short time. If you do this on World 1-3, you'll find a warp whistle that will let you skip to Worlds 2, 3, 4, 4.
The Nintendo Entertainment System NES Classic Edition lets you enjoy the good old days of gaming like never before with pixel-perfect and retro display modes, and suspend points that let you save anywhere in the game. The system comes bundled with an HDMI cable, an AC adapter, one NES Classic controller, and all 30 games installed and ready to play. Additional controllers are sold separately. Revisit favorite gaming memories and make new ones. The wonderful world of 8-bit awaits. And now, for your final gameplay tip.
Hi, I'm Mark Will. I started as a gameplay counselor in 1990, the same year that one of my favorite NES games came out, StarTropics. Well, it used to be one of my favorites. You see, back in the day, people rented a lot of games. If you rented StarTropics, chances were you didn't get the physical letter that came packaged with it.
The letter!
To set up the plot, at a certain point in the game, you were told to dip the letter in water to reveal a secret code that needed to continue. It worked like magic, but if you didn't have the letter, you were stuck. I took so many calls about this that after a while, when someone said, I'm playing StarTropics, I'd sometimes say 747 before they could even finish. They would laugh and say, no way, how did you know that? Now, there's no letter included with the Nintendo Entertainment System NES Classic Edition system, but I have it on good authority that the 747 code can be found in the system. Now, I know your tip, Metroid. To play as Samus without her armor, go to the password screen and enter Justin Bailey. That's JUSTINBAILLEY. All caps, followed by 12 spaces. This will also put you far into the game with lots of powers. Have fun!
Thank you for calling Nintendo's Power Line. Don't forget to check out the Nintendo Entertainment System NES Classic Edition, available now at a suggested retail price of $59.99. For more information, visit Nintendo.com.
Well, there you go. It was not interactive. I did try and call back multiple times and try and hit in 0 and other random codes to see if anything random would happen, if there were any Easter eggs. I didn't discover any. I don't know if anyone else did. But as promised, a few random tips and tricks. The first one is related to The Legend of Zelda. And I've lost my... somewhere here there is a chest. Now, as a kid, my babysitter used to come by with Robbie, the killer robot, and Gyromite. But she would also bring by a whole bunch of maps that she and her brother had made on graph paper for the first and second quest for all the dungeons for Zelda, which was highly useful. I may occasionally still draw out a map for the last dungeon, level 9, anytime I do it on either of the quests, because I might get a little lost. But the interesting thing is, if you take the maps for these dungeons, on the first quest at least, and you put them all together, you form one cool picture. Amazing! Also very space-saving. Genius! Miz Sylver's tip, trivia, etc. B is for Bobble, an amazing game which I had a chance to play in the arcades for the first time last year. Now, if you have not played this game before, to get the true ending, there are some things you need to do. First off, whenever you see the crystal ball, make sure you touch it, and then make sure you get to the door so that you can be taken to a different set of levels. And after you go through a whole bunch of stuff, eventually, when you get to the final boss, you need 2 players to beat the game. But let's say you're sad and you're forever alone. That's okay. You have a controller. There's a controller somewhere in this pile of stuff. I don't know where it is. Also, is this not the tiniest thing you've ever seen in your life? I didn't think it'd be this small. Hit start and select. And then, of course, unpause the game by hitting start again to bring another player in before you defeat the final boss. So you have 2 players on the screen, and then you will get the final true ending. You of course need extra lives to add in the extra player. You can also give another player extra lives in case they run out of lives. When you're playing the game, thank you Anubis for hitting the camera while you're doing this. And of course, Miz Sylver's final Nintendo bit is related to... not Kirby! I like Kirby too. Pac-Man. So, when I finally listened to the audiobook of Ready Player One, and then eventually later got the awesome book of it, I had never known in the original Pac-Man game there's a hold spot where you can put your Pac-Man and you won't be attacked by the horrible Kirby again, the ghost at all. Amazing! So, if you play this on a home version or any other version that is not based on the arcade version or an emulation of the arcade version, this hold spot doesn't work. Don't go there. You'll be eaten by Inky, Blinky, Pinky, Clyde, Sue, whatever version of whatever Pac-Man variation you're playing. Don't jump after that kitten. Stay there. But it's fascinating. I've seen Pac-Man machines a couple times since I learned about this, but never gotten a chance to play. Someday I will. I'm curious what everyone else is looking most forward to playing on this. Okay, this is seriously really small. This is the tiniest thing I've ever seen in my life. What is this? When they said this was portable, they were not kidding. I mean, you could literally chuck this in your backpack, and this is awesome. This is mind-blowingly tiny. It's like smaller than a power glove. That doesn't even make any sense. The cat wants it. This is an original NES. This is... oh! That was the cat. I'm not sure which way the camera's supposed to go right now. However, thank you for watching. I'm not sure if this is upside down now, but I think it is. Thank you for watching. I hope everyone has a great time playing everything they're playing at Game On. Anubis! Kitten.